What's going on, guys? My name's Gian Gomez, sales trainer and sales coach for the Elliott Group. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to understand, but also the steps to master the sales process, or the road to the sale, like some people like to refer it to. So that way you as a salesperson can have an understanding of what part of the sale you're in, but also know moving forward the techniques and the strategies that you should implement within your game so you could get better. Also, if you guys like this type of content, if you like to improve, if you like to get better, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, so that way the YouTube algorithm keeps on feeding you this same type of educational content so you can start making more money at your job. With that being said, let's get right into the whiteboard. All right, so getting right into the video, number one thing I want to start off with is, number one, mastering the sales process, understanding the sales process. Only 11% of salespeople follow a sales process. Most salespeople are out there winging it. What does that mean for you? That means you can slaughter the guy across the street. You can slaughter the guy picking up the phone. You could slaughter just about anyone by having a sales process and staying to it. I want to go over a couple benefits and a couple cons of following this sales process. And I broke this down into a 6-step way where it's pretty much easy within whatever industry you're at to have a process that you can follow. Look, I've been in, I've been in handshaking sales processes. I've been in phone sales processes. I've been in 2-call systems, 3-call systems, 4-call systems. I've been in, calling and getting people in. And it all breaks down to these fundamental aspects when you're selling, okay? So breaking down the benefit and cons, just so you guys can have something that steers you to understanding why it's important to master all these 6 steps of the sales process or the road to the sale. Potato, potato. But benefits, feel is right. You got to have a sales process that you feel is right. Last thing you want is, look, this is the sales process you got to follow. And at the end of the day, you're like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This goes against what I want to do. So most important thing is that it has to feel right. It has to feel right as to what you're doing. Number 2, fits all situations. For you to scale a sales process, scale the scripts, scale the processes that you develop within the sales process, it has to fit all situations. You can't use one for here, use one for there. It has to fit hot leads, warm leads, all different types of situations, but the sales process isn't a script for each process. It's more of a fundamental understanding of what you have to do. Morals and transparency. Damn, we're gonna have to fix whoever spells these up here. But morals and transparency, man. You don't want to go against your ethics. You don't want to go against your morals. You don't want to trick customers. You don't want to say, hey, look that way, and then steal something from behind their back. You want to be moral. You want to be transparent, and having a sales process is gonna align you with that every single time. Duplicatable. You go into a management role, you go somewhere, you do something where you get brought up into the company. How good would it be? How good would it be if you had a sales process that you can duplicate for your sales team? Or if you're a business owner watching this, man, what if you had a sales process that you could duplicate through your whole team that's going to guarantee closes and more business being brought into your organization? Cons, right? Without a sales process, you can't progress. There's no way for you to know, okay, I went wrong here. I got to improve this. When the same reason that people that play sports, NBA players, football players, they watch their own game film to see where they went wrong. You have to have a sales process to know where you went wrong and how you could improve it. No consistency. You know what they say? Repetition is the mother of skill. If you don't repeat something, you're never going to get good at it. You're never going to master the skill. No improvement. Real simply put, if you don't have a sales process that you could consistently stick to and that there's no progress, you're not going to see much improvement within yourself. You're going to be like 89% of salespeople that are winging it time over time. So getting right into the steps and for you to have an understanding of how this is going to go down. So number 1, prospecting. A lot of salespeople leave this out, but man, you got to know how to prospect. You gotta know how to prospect. Whether you're in a business where leads are generated to you or you're in a cold calling environment, you have to know how to consistently prospect for new customers. Look, I was in a car dealership and leads would be brought into us, but the people that truly were the 1%, the people that truly succeeded, those are the people that prospected on their own time. Number 2, greet and fact finding. And going back to prospecting, there's a couple skills that you want to develop. You got to be charismatic. You got to, some people using social media are generating more leads than they know what to do with. And in that term are closing more deals because, man, they're generating leads at 2-3 cents on the dollar, bringing in customers at an unfathomable pace. So being able to prospect, being able to bring new business, well, if you're getting customers brought into you, it might not be the most priority in your eyes, but I promise you, developing the skill to be able to prospect is going to be fundamental within the process. So after you brought them in, you got to know whether you're dealing with a hot, a warm, a cold lead. Depending on the customer that you're dealing with, whether it's hot, warm, cold, you got to know how to greet them and how to fact find them, accordingly. Obviously, in a hot customer, you already have an instinctive mutual understanding that you want to get the deal done, so you move straight into the fact finding. While into a cold lead, you got to warm them up. You got to get to know them. But the problem is that a lot of people separate these two processes. The reason that I didn't is because a lot of people get stuck on the meet and greet, talking about the weather, talking about, the golf game, talking about things that don't matter. And at the end of the day, it makes you seem like you're not a credible source because you spend all the time talking about things that don't matter. True professionals, true masters of their industry are to the point. They're fast, they're rapid, they're getting to know the things, they're asking the hard questions. So meet and greet, number one, is building a best friend instantly. But number two, being able to fact find and know the questions to ask in your specific industry to get better at what you're doing and to get to know the customer. Once you know the information that you got to do, you got to move on to the presentation. Right? I want to give you a couple key elements. And if you have a question about any of these processes and you need a more in-depth understanding of how to do each one, feel free to text me at 405-746-0077. For the meantime, if you guys need me to put a video on each one of these processes specifically, make sure to drop it in the comments. So that way I know what you guys need and what area of this process you're struggling with, and I'll make a video going in depth about it. So presentation. Real simply put, this is the point where you're going to start presenting. You're going to start presenting your product to the individual, but you're not going to do it in a way that you're going to rip off their ears because you talk too much. Like the old saying goes, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth. You want to listen and ask key questions, even through the presentation, that's going to bring up wounds, that's going to bring up previous experiences within the presentation, so that way you can conform your presentation to the individual and the end process. So presentation, being able to present your product in a way that you're revealing. At the end of the day, presentation, it's not that hard. You're just giving information about your product, relating to the individual. When you're selling a car, you don't want to tell a grandma the horsepower, and you don't want to tell a teen the safety features. It's just fundamental understandings that you've gained during the fact finding that you adapt your presentation to. The close. Once you've done the presentation, you move on to the close. Simply put, you got to know the common objections. You got to know how to present your product during the close. You got to know, how to transition from the presentation to the close, and just having an understanding of how to do all these things. The beautiful thing about the close is that sometimes it's so complicated, but it really isn't. It's just at the end of the day, it's having an understanding of what you need to say, when you need to say, and closing. It's all broken down into systems and processes that you can follow and tailor for each individual. Once you close the customer, and sometimes we don't always close the customer on the first attempt. Most of the money's in the follow-up. But whether you close them, whether you don't, you always want to ask for a referral. They say, look, 91% of customers are willing to give salespeople referrals, but only 9% of customers are willing to ask for them. You see the problem with that? Or 9% of salespeople are willing to ask the customer for a referral. You want to consistently be asking for your referrals. Look, when you go out and you sell a car or sell a deal, or you're talking on the phone, you're playing offense. Right? I see some salespeople do a $2,000 deal and then go sleep for the day. No, you want to ask for referrals, and you want to play the defensive side of your sales process, okay? So number 5, better said, is going to be referrals. Whether you close them or whether you don't, you want to be consistently asking for them. Shoot, if you don't close the customer, they're going to want to out. And the best way for you to provide that is by asking, hey, since we're not doing business today, do you know anyone in the industry that is interested in this product that I'm selling? And I promise you, I'll treat them in the spectacular way that I treated you, right? And that gives them an out to not have to do business with you. But at the end of the day, not all customers are closable, and the ones that aren't, you want to make sure that you're asking for the referrals. Lastly, follow-up / nurture. So if you didn't close, you ask for the referrals, you follow up with the customer, you go back and you start the process over again. But if you did close the customer, you want to nurture them. This is a fundamental key ingredient that most salespeople are missing, and you as a salesperson need to know how to nurture your customer, so that way you can continue to ask for referrals and they can continuously send you customers, and you could keep playing the defensive side to your sales game. But with that being said, those are the 6 steps to mastering the sales process and having an understanding of the sales process within your industry. So, if you have any questions, feel free to text me 405-746-0077. If you liked the video, drop a comment, drop a like, drop a subscribe, so that way YouTube could feed you more content like this to improve your sales game, get you better, so we can start making more money. With that being said, my name's Gian Gomez. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.